Today we will learn pumping lemma for regular languages. So what pumping lemma does, it is a particular type of lemma where we will follow some procedures to prove whether a language is regular or not. If I have to say more precisely, we can prove that this language is not regular. Okay, so to prove that a language is not regular, a pumping lemma can be used. It's a very you can say it's a very well known algorithm, or it's a very acceptable way to find out that language is not regular. Okay, so can you say that all the languages are regular? No. As we proceed with our syllabus, you will find out that the number of regular languages available is minimal. It's very small amount of languages are there, very small portion of all the languages are there, which you can say that these languages are regular. So in most of the cases you will find out the languages and those are not regular. Okay. And why? Because you will find out finite automata has limited memory. As we proceed, you can see that when comparison is coming, say a to the power n, b to the power n, where n is greater than equals to 0. So what we need here, we have to store the values of a and to keep that in memory, and we have to compare that with the number of b's, because here both the power are same, so we have to compare whether number of a's and number of b's are equal or not. So this cannot be done in finite automata because it has having a very limited memory. It works in a finite fashion. So in any infinite language it cannot store, it cannot compare. So all these languages will come under the category of non-regularity. We'll see one by one. So how can we show that a language is regular? How can we show that a language is not regular? So here our job will be to show that a language is not regular. Okay, another question will left out for now. So here one theorem is there: if L is finite, then L is regular. It's a very basic theorem. If you can prove that if any language is finite, say I am saying that a to the power n, where n is less than equals to 5. So here you can say that n is finite here. So you can easily say that this language is regular language. So any finite language will obviously a regular language. How to prove this one? We have to build an automaton for every word w in L. We have already done this. Still I have written here, then so why that's why I am reading it out, nothing else. We have already done how to convert a particular language to finite automata, how to represent a language to finite automata, everything is done. Okay, so what we will do, we have to build an automaton for every word L in w in L. Then we will add one q start with epsilon transition to every initial state. We have done like this. We have firstly, whatever the language is given, we have to first build an epsilon NFA, then we have to convert it to NFA, and ultimately we have to convert it to DFA. Since the DFA is a standard way to represent a finite or regular language, right? So this is only they are saying all. Right. What about infinite language? What will happen if we move from regular to non-regular? As you can see, this example is given 0 to the power n, 1 to the power m, where n and m is greater than 0. Can you say this language is finite? No, we cannot say. So this is not a regular language. Another example can be this one: 0 to the power n, 1 to the power m, m greater than n. So you cannot say these are finite languages. So when in the question of infinity is infinite language is coming, so we have to treat those languages the non-regular language. Okay, so pumping lemma is one of the way available to prove the non-regularity of a language. We will see that. And here we can see one example which we have already seen in the previous slide, that this language 0 to the power n, 1 to the power n, 0 to the power n, 1 to the power m, where m is greater than n, is not regular. Why? Because we are stating some reasons behind this. It is not regular because when we reach substring of 1s, we have to remember the length of 0 substring. and this is not possible in finite automata, right? The length is remembered by states, one state for each letter. So when we are transiting from one state to another in case of finite automata, the previous states whatever it has followed, it cannot remember because it is not having any other memory structure, right? So where it can put those whatever the states it has visited, so the finite automata cannot remember anything. So the length of the zeros prefix can be any number. A finite automata has a finite number of states, so it cannot remember the length of zeros prefix. So this is not regular. Now let us focus on our main motive, that is the pumping lemma. This is a central theorem concerning regular languages. It determines the basic nature of regular languages. Any regular language satisfies the lemma. So whatever lemma we will see in our next slide, the job of the regular language is to follow those lemma, or follow, you will see there are three steps available. So if any language, we can fit any language to those three states, then you can consider that it is regular, otherwise it will not regular. Okay, a language that does not satisfy the lemma must be non-regular. Okay, now see the representation. How we will represent? Assume an automaton with n states. We are assuming one automaton with n states. We are not saying that finite, because it is our job, it's left with us that we have to prove that it is regular or not regular. In this case, we will just come to the conclusion that it is not regular, but it will never guarantee that this is regular. So you can just eliminate few languages as not regular, but you cannot guarantee that this is regular language. Okay. So now any word W that is must be greater than equals to n must include in a loop. As we visit one example, the concept will be much clearer to you all. Now denote the part before loop by x, the part loop is y, and the part after loop is z. The z part ends with an accepting state as the word is in L. So whatever the string or whatever the language will be given to us, we will just separate, or we will just subdivide it into three parts. First, small portion of language, we denote it with x, last portion will be kept as z, and whatever the repetition is there in between, that will be treated as y. For your simplicity, say one string is a, b star, c. So here a is treated as x, c is treated as z, and since we are just looping on b, that will be treated as y. We will not this type of examples you will find, but we will see how to represent. Just I am, for the sake of simplicity, I am giving this kind of example. Okay. The loop can be repeated any number of times and still go through z to an accepting states. Hence the y can be pumped. So pumped means what we are doing, since we are just putting that portion of string that is getting repeated a few number of times. So what we will assume here, we are pumping some input and just kept on pumping into the machine, right? So since it is getting repeated, so we will consider this as the pumping state. We can repeat the loop any number of times and still proceed to z to accepting state. So after that repetition portion is completed, one small amount of string may not be there, you will find out, you will see in the later slides. So if any more strings are there, we will just visit those portion of string and can move to the final state ultimately. Now see, this is a theorem a pumping lemma follows. Lemma says, if L is a regular language, then there is a number n such that any string W belongs to L where the size of that, or the length of that string W is greater than equals to n, and it can be divided into three parts, say x, y, z, such that you have to remember here the size of y can never be equals to or lesser than 0. There may be some portion of string, it is mandatory to keep some portion of string in as a y. There may not be anything to x, there may not be anything to z, but there should be something to y. So the length of y will always be greater than 0, and obviously xy should be lesser than or equals to n. When it becomes equals to n, then nothing left with z, but when it becomes lesser to n, that remaining portion will come up with the z. For each I means here you will see we will just follow the method of induction to follow to find out whether that regular is that language is non-regular. So here we will consider that I is greater than equals to 0, and since we are pumping the portion of I, so we will just keep that I as the power of y, because we are repeating that steps of y number of times. So firstly I may be 0, right, because something to the power 0 will obviously 1, so y will never be 0. So for I equals to 0 we will find out something, for I equals to 1 we will find out something, and we will keep on moving like this. Okay. If we have to explain this informally, we can say like this: for each regular language there is a constant number n such that any string of length more than n can be pumped. The pumped part y should not be of length 0, at least one letter. The parts before and after pumpable part, that is x and z, could be epsilon. I have already told all this thing beforehand, right? So that length of y cannot never be 0. The situation may be like this: there is nothing left with x, nothing left with z, fine, no issue, but you have to, it is mandatory to keep something that you can pump. The part we may pump is inside a prefix xy of length at most n. If the length is n, I have told you there will be nothing left with z, so then our expression will reduce to xy, so there will be nothing left with z in those cases. Now we will see some formal proof. Let M be a DFA that recognizes L, and let N be the number of states of M. Here we are having a machine named M that is DFA, and it is recognizing a language L, and there are n number of states. So if we let W be a string in L of length at least n, so we are considering any string W where its length should be at least n. So the length of the string should be at least equal to the number of states present. It may be greater than that, right? Say you are having some machine, say Q, it is having 3 states, Q0, Q1, Q2. So your string should be at least like AAA, right? So 3 length string is minimum in this case. It can be more than that. So it has a prefix of length n. The sequence of states in automaton M that we go through while processing the prefix is Q0, and 1 state for each letter read. So when we have to develop finite automata from the language given, what we do, we just find out the first string, we just start with initial state, say Q0, and proceed by adding the states as we move on. After reading this prefix, we have a sequence of n plus 1 states. It can be very easily proved. Say I told you to design a machine which is accepting AAB. So to make the machine accepting this string AAB, how many states you need? 4 states at least. Without 4 states you cannot make the machine accept this, right? AAB. So whenever you are with the string of length n, there your minimum number of states will automatically become n plus 1. As there are only n different states in automaton, because here we are restricting that this automaton is having only n different state in M. You can see that it is mentioned in the previous slide only. So at least 1 state has to be repeated while reading the prefix, because to represent a string of minimal length n, and again we have to restrict the machine with n number of states, and but the scenario is like this: without n plus 1 number of states we cannot make the machine work. So only the way out is to repeat 1 state. So 1 state will be there obviously that we have to repeat. We are denoting one of them R. Let X be the prefix of W read before first appearance of R, and let R be the substring of Y read between first and second appearance of R. If you follow the diagram as we have seen 2 slides before in the pumping lemma part, we are just depicting 3 states. It is starting with Q0 and ending with F. In between there is a state, namely R. The name is anything before R with X, and we are mentioning anything after R with Z. Fine. So let Y be the substring of y read between first and second appearance of r, and z will be the substring of w read after second appearance of r till the end of w. Why first and second appearance? Because here we need at least one step to get repeated. That's why first appearance and the question of first appearance and second appearance is mentioned here. Now z ends with an accepting state f because the string is in L. So if we can prove that after starting with q0 and staying at r any number of times we are getting any z to reach f, then you can say this is a finite automaton, so this is a regular language. Okay. So y is a loop in the automaton. Y has at least length 1 because we move from state to state in DFA only upon reading a letter. Right. So the basic assumption of pumping lemma is like this: y can never be, the length of y can never be 0. So at least it should be at least 1. Okay. So as there is a path from R to an accepting state F, there is a direct path from Q0, R and F without going through the R loop even once. If you follow the diagram, you can directly move from Q0, R to F without looping into this one, this R. So then it will be like this: x y to the power 0 z, that is xz. On the other hand, we can go through the loop more than once and can still get out of R to F, that is x I to the power 1 z. So when we have seen the description of pumping lemma, it stated that it should be break into this fashion, which follows x y to the power I and z, where I should be greater than equals to 0. So this, the first situation is when I equals to 0, and the second situation, it can be I can be any number. So there is no limit on a number of times we can go through the loop. Okay. Now we will see an example. See, this is our string given. I have already mentioned this one. So what if you represent this, what will happen? Our q0 is equivalent to q0 according to the diagram of pumping lemma. If we compare, r is equal to q1 and f is equals to q2. Here x is a, z is c and b is looping, so y is b. So this is an example if we compare with the representation of pumping lemma. You can see another example, this one. So in this case, you can observe that both A and B has been pumped into the machine. So in this case, you can say that the out of this x y to the power I z, x and z are nothing, they are null, right? Only y part is there. Now we will see usage of the pumping lemma. The main usage of pumping lemma is to prove that some language is not regular. I am again repeating, it will just guarantee that this is not regular. You cannot come to the conclusion, okay, since it is not regular, we can say the language is regular. No, the situation is not like this. If you see any finite language and without saying, you can say that this can be accepted by finite automata, so this is regular language, fine. But if using pumping lemma, if we come to prove that this is not regular, but then and then we cannot say the language is regular. So the technique used is assume that the language is regular. Firstly, we will assume our language to be regular, then we will contradict ourselves. That is the main job. Then assume some n and find out a string w that has a greater length than n. Show that for any partition of w into xyz such that properties 1 and 2 of pumping lemma hold. Please remember those properties of pumping lemma, what we have read beforehand, and there exists an I such that x y to the power I z is not in the language. If you can prove that x y to the power I z is not in the language, so you cannot say the language is regular. So previously we assumed that the language is regular, but after that we are just contradicting ourselves. That is the job. Now we will focus on this example. Here we are having one example, say 0 to the power m, 1 to the power m, where m is greater than 0. We are considering the equation as 0 to the power n, 1 to the power n for nothing. You can keep it as m only, but we are just rewriting it with n since we have just read the pumping lemma like that. We have read in terms of n, that's why I have written n. This thing is same. So firstly, what we are considering, assuming the contrary, that L is regular. Now n be the number promised by the pumping lemma. So we are just assuming the number n as the total number of symbols present or total number of states we have to design. Now we are dividing this W into three parts. Here length of W is greater than n, obviously you can see from here. So by pumping lemma, W can be divided into three parts. What are those? X, Y and Z. So we have to design in this fashion so that some repeating portion is there, and before that will be treated as X, and after that repeated portion that will be treated as Y. Okay. So X and Y are both in prefix of length n, and so are consist of zeros. Since what we have considered there, X and Y, the length of X and Y, it can be equal to n or lesser than n. So you cannot consider more than n, right? So you cannot consider the length of X and Y to be more than n. So obviously we have to restrict the portion of X and portion of Y within the number of zeros only, because if we move to 1, then it will become more than n, since the number of zeros is n here, 0 to the power n. So X and Y are both in prefix of length n, so we will consist of zeros only. So we are denoting the length of X by S and the length of Y by T. Here you can see in the diagram we have just marked in this fashion. You can it is very easily understandable. So what X is consisting of? 0 to the power S. So whatever the number of S is, that number of zeros are there. Y will be obviously number of T. What is the value of T? That to the power 0 will be our Y portion. Here, as we all know, that the size of S can be 0 as well, because it is not mandatory to keep any string to X or to Z in pumping lemma, but we have to keep something to Y. That's why the size of T should be greater than equals to 1, and S plus T is less than equals to n. We are again satisfying the property of pumping lemma. We have seen that the length of X and Y together should be less than equals to n. So here the size of X is depending on S and size of Y is depending on T. So the addition of those two will always be lesser than or equals to n. Now how many zeros left for Z? Total number of zeros present was n. We have given S number of zeros to X and T number of zeros to Y. That's why the number of zeros remained with Z will be 0 to the power n minus S minus T, and total 1 is there with Z only. Now by pumping lemma, if the language is regular, then this should be accepted by any machine. So we will see. Now we are taking I equals to 2. If we take I equals to 2, we are just replacing the number. If you see that X Y square Z. So X is nothing, 0 to the power S. If you remember the before one, that Y was 0 to the power T. So it will become 0 to the power 2t, and Z will remain the same, that is 0 to the power n minus S minus T and 1 to the power n. It will become like this. So this is not in L. Why this is not in L? Since T is greater than equals to 1, we have considered before, and that T is greater than equals to 1. So, and a number of 0 is greater than the number of 1. It is contradicting. Since 0 is having power of n plus T and T is greater than equals to 1, so it will have, the T will at least have the value of 1. So if we put T equals to 1, what will happen? 0 to the power n plus 1, 1 to the power n. Is this the language given? No. What is the language given? The number of zeros and number of ones are same. So this is not the regular language, because this is what the language we are trying to design, or what the language we are trying to prove it to be regular. It is just contradicting, right? So thus we have contradiction to the pumping lemma. That means our assumption that L is regular is wrong. So L is not regular language. Here we are not concluding that if it is not regular language this much. So if you cannot follow the following steps to prove any language as regular. So the job of pumping lemma is to just prove the non-regularity of any language. it. Okay. You can see I have just kept another example, that is www belonging to 01 star. It is not regular, but I have not shown you the proof. It will be your job. I have just given you the example how to choose W. So you will just try it of your own. So we can come to this conclusion that if we are given some regular expression, we can convert those regular expression to regular language that can be converted to DFA or NFA. You can place even NFA before and DFA later on. The thing is same. Everything can be converted to one another. Only you cannot convert any DFA to NFA. That is not possible, or that is not meaningful rather. Right? If we come from NFA to DFA, that makes more sense. So what pumping lemma is doing, it is just drawing one boundary between a language is not regular if it does not satisfy the pumping lemma property, and if it satisfies the pumping lemma property, a language can be, you can consider that language as a regular language, but it is not definite, right? If you find out that okay, it passes through pumping lemma, that cannot guarantee that the language will be regular. Still we have to try to design the machine, that have to draw the DFA. If we can draw the DFA ultimately, then obviously it will be the regular language, right? And this is the end of your module 1, and that is the end of the regular languages. So after this we will move on to our next part, that is the languages which are not regular, what those languages will be called, how the machine is going to accept those languages that are not regular. Thank you.